Hello, Pramod. Welcome to Fishy Podcast with Yashwant. This is our podcast journey. We started our YouTube journey with you, and same way we are starting our. This is the second video on my podcast. I hope you'll enjoy this podcast, and it will go well in YouTube. So once again, welcome to Fishy Podcast with Yashwant.
Thank you so much, Yashwant sir, and it's always a pleasure to have you at Betta Forest. So, Betta Forest always welcomes you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And today's title for this episode is all about Planted Aquarium. We have
Yes.
kept this name of this episode as that one. That is because when I was doing the research, I could see that there are a lot of search on internet about the Planted Aquarium. What are the basic? How do we start doing a Planted Aquarium? Where do we get all those plants? Where do we get CO2 kits? Where do we get all the light? Or which is the shop we get A to Z of the Planted Aquarium things? That is what which has been searched more.
Yes.
So we will give all the clear knowledge on this about to our customers or your customers or our viewers. So let's start with it. And my first question is, why do you prefer to keep a planted aquarium? Because when I come to your shop, it gives a vibe of a
Yes.
nature
Yeah.
that we are in some place. And not only you have a lot of other different types of aquariums. Means here you have biotope, everything. But first thing, do you prefer most of the planted aquarium most?
Yeah. Since my childhood, I was very fascinated towards aquariums, and gradually I became very close to the nature. We used to go for outings, trekkings. That's where I fell in love with the nature, and that's how again I myself got into nature aquariums. That time when I was a hobbyist in planted tanks, those were very basic aquariums we used to create, just like we call it as a dynamo start method. We used to have lake soil, lake sand, and a basic plants. Even I didn't know some of the plant names that time. I used to go to the aquarium shops, local shops, and purchase some plants, and I used to have a great experience with that method. But gradually the planted aquariums are taking a new era now. If you look at from last 10, 12 years, they have become very advanced in terms of, you take the quality of the tanks, the quality of the soil. There are a lot of equipments which are popping up nowadays, and people started using CO2s, which gives supplement to the plants, and you can see the plants are really thriving in your aquarium. Quality soils we are receiving, quality medias we are receiving, which keeps your entire tank cycle healthy and promotes growth of the plants. And definitely your fish will be stress less in your aquariums. So you can go to any shops. There are few shops in Bangalore, they are doing phenomenal job in terms of nature aquascaping. Plus nowadays at Betta Forest, we are coming up with the new ideas, that is biotopes.
Yeah.
However, the nature aquariums have become very common and they have reached the peak. Now again, the new technologies are coming up, how to develop the quality as well. Along that side, most of the people, many of the people, particularly in Bangalore, showing interest in biotopes. Now, what are biotopes? Basically, biotopes, we call it as a replication.
So, Pramod, why do you prefer a planted aquarium the most? Because when I come to your shop, the first vibe it gives is the green jungle aquarium, which is behind you one and the next to you one. They are very good. Initially, when I saw these aquariums, one first thing I felt was wow. So, why should any person do a planted aquarium? According to
So, as per my experience, planted tank is a kind of pro in aquarium hobby. Most of the people start with a small fish or a big fish or a small tank or a bigger tanks, and when they gradually increase their hobby, I'm damn sure that they end up with the planted aquariums. They start with the basic planted tanks and start improving their quality of the work, quality of the products. That's how they end up with a very good aquascapings. Why myself, introducing nature aquariums in Betta Forest is, particularly in Bangalore, you can see the people life is very stressful.
yeah,
It's very stressful. I mean, almost 12 hours, 13 hours job what they do, and they don't have any particular thing in their home where they can sit in front of that and get stress free. And even the childrens nowadays, they are very addicted to the mobiles.
yeah,
The outdoor games is almost we are
gone.
not seeing
Yeah.
nowadays. I think, if you take my personal experience, nature aquascaping is the one. The planted tanks are the one which keeps you away from the mobile and which connects you to the nature. So that is the one concept we have introduced nature aquariums, particularly planted tanks in Betta Forest.
Yeah, man, and it's a very good thing you mentioned that kids nowadays, and it keep them occupied and make them go to mobiles less. Yeah,
Yes,
that was a very good point to catch. Parents should take that into consideration
yes,
even when, because when they spend time on these sort of things, they will give less time on the screen, and they means even this type of as per my knowledge, aquariums are not just to keep in. It has a lot of science in it, right?
yes.
Yeah,
It has a lot of things. Basically, we can call it as it's a completely a nature what we have in one aquarium. We have a lot of plants. We have a lot of creatures, like not only the fish. We have shrimps. We
sure.
have snails. There are a lot of different types of livestock we'll be having. If you sit and see, you really connects to the nature.
Yeah.
Looking at the tanks, for an example, this tank we have around 23 varieties of plants. We have 2 to 3 varieties of shrimps, 2 to 3 varieties of fish, snails we have. So when you sit in front of that, at least for that time you'll forget everything and you just focus on the nature.
Wow.
So I believe nature is the one medicine which is kind of a, injection for your stress. So I definitely recommend all the parents at least start a small hobby, small aquarium hobby in your home, and see the results, see the benefits of that.
Okay. And Hellman, you know a lot of plants name and its name, but those names never come to our mouth because they are very difficult. Some scientific names and all, which you keep telling sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
some plants are very difficult to pronounce. For me, there is one plant I even used to tell my customers, Erioculum quinquangular. It took 10 days for me to pronounce. And now, having said that, it's one of the beautiful plant which recently has been introduced in aquarium hobby. And we should feel proud that the plant belongs to India.
Yeah.
So it is from India, Ratnagiri region, from
Region.
Maharashtra. And definitely, if you are if you are experienced in planted tank hobby, you should definitely try that plant.
Gotcha. And let's come to the basic now. Now I am thinking of starting a planted aquarium. What you tell is the basic. Now tank first, should we add some back? They tell that super 4 bacteria we
Yes,
should add
beneficial
this
bacteria.
and all things.
Yes.
What is the basic thing to keep in mind before starting an planted aquarium?
The basic thing is use a good quality products. That is very basic, I would say, because there is one word in Marwadi, महंगा रोए एक बार सस्ता रोए बार बार अंतर.
Ah,
So when you buy a good quality product, it might be bit expensive in your pocket, but you will definitely enjoy it for longer tenure. If you compromise with the quality, again, very short period of span, you'll start getting trouble out of that. So I request all the customers, you're starting a hobby, buy a good quality product. I'm not saying you buy a big tank and big lights, expensive lights. At least a small tank, 1 feet tank you buy some good quality filtration, good quality light, good aquarium soil, good aquarium media. So that's how you can start your hobby and you see the very good result, because already you're using a good quality. So start with minimum, start with small tanks, don't spend much amount. Spend less, experience, learn, then you see the magic happens.
means what I understood by your words is if I have 10,000, first thing we will think is we will have a 3 feet tank.
Big tank, yes.
What we will
yes.
do is with that money we will go to do some aquarium and it will trouble us. Actually,
Yes, that's
we can't
what
do.
happens.
What
yes.
you are telling is first have a plan, make a small one, experiment on that one.
Yes.
Once we are good in that, proceed for
At
next
least for
one.
6-7 months, spend time, learn how the improvements happening in your tank. Look at the fish, how they are in your tank, how is their natural movement. Are they happy? Are they enjoying your tank? Is the plants are healthy? It's your plants tank cycle is doing good. Observe all the thing, then you upgrade.
Got it.
Gradually, slowly you upgrade, not at immediate phase. As you said, if I have 10,000, it's not like I buy a big tank and end up with living big fish in that. It's not a great thing to start.
Got it. So what is the first then? Back to the question, what are the basics? Means first we should take a tank, or should we cycle the water first, or how we should add sand back there? How you will tell
If
to
you ask
start
me
it?
personally, I would definitely tell you start off with a 1 feet, at least 25 30 liters of tank, which gives enough space for plants as well as the livestock. And good quality light and good quality filtration is must. Along with use a good quality of soil and medias. Cycle it for, once you plant your tank, cycle it for 10 or 15 days. It's not always suggestible to introduce fish at the same time, because there will be some chances of ammonia and nitrate spike in your tank. So cycle it for 10 or 15 days. See whether the algae is popping up in your tank. So when you see at least a 10-20% of algae, then your tank is ready to introduce the livestock.
Got it. And my another doubt is diatom process. When it comes to planted tanks, initially if we have set up, when is it is compulsory that diatom process will happen. And my next question is, what are the things we should introduce in that time? Because some tell we should add and auto sprinklers or shrimps or ammonia shrimps like that.
Yes.
What is that we should add? Means to keep it simple, diatom is nothing but those algae, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
brown algae, basically it is called as a diatom. It is part of your aquarium
Okay.
cycle. So
It will
without,
happen.
yes, without diatom there is no nature aquariums. So it has to come. It will come in your tank. So when you see the diatom, then it is a symbol of your tank is cycled.
Okay.
It is a sign of your tank is cycled, and it's a right time to introduce alligators. As you said, auto sprinklers. We have Siamese alligators. We have Bristol nose plecos. We have shrimps. So once you introduce these alligators, they'll clean up all the diatom algae. And once your tank is completely ready, once your tank is completely out of diatom, then you can introduce the fish which you like.
Got it. So, what is the minimum days to add a fish?
At least you should wait for 20-25 days. That is the
20.
minimum. Yes.
20 to 25 days
Yes.
is the better. So, what is that about CO2 and non-CO2 tanks? Because everyone, first thing we will think is Planted Aquarium will make it cheap. We will do it without CO2 or with CO2. What is the difference? What do you prefer, with CO2 or without CO2? Do plants live without CO2? What is that equation?
Yeah, definitely there are some plants. See, there are no plants which lives with CO2. Every
CO2?
plant needs CO2.
Okay.
Basically, if you give with injected CO2, that is using cylinders, it is like a protein to the plants.
Okay.
If you don't use CO2, there will be some sort of carbon dioxide in your aquarium.
Got it.
When you do water changes, when you add some fertilizer, there is some. So whatever plants are there, the hardy plants, they demand very less lighting as well as very less CO2. They consume that and they can survive. For an example, you take anubias, any epiphyte plants you take, or cryptocorynes you take, they're very hardy.
Yeah.
They can survive without CO2 injection, but even they need CO2. If you provide proper CO2 system to them, they'll thrive beautifully. So you can see the difference. But without CO2, the leaves will not extract their colors. Their growth will be stagnant. If you provide
Limited
the same
progress.
yes, if you provide the same CO2 to them, they'll thrive very fast, and the coloration will be even more beautiful. So again, it depends on your budget. If you have a budget, it's not mandatory you should start with a CO2 cylinder. At least start with the basic, do regular water changes, maintain the hygienity of your tank. Then also you can see the very good result. Since we have non-CO2 tanks over here, nano tanks, you can see the results. Plants are growing very healthy.
And my another question is, what are the best plants if I want to start with low budget and without CO2? Best plants, top 5.
See,
in your hand.
I am a fan of rosettes and rhizomes. I avoid the stem plants because stem plants require a lot of maintenance. We have to trim them on regular basis. If you are a beginner, definitely the Valsinaria varieties, the cryptocoryne varieties are suggestible. Along with that, you can use some ferns, and anubias are the very much recommended for the beginners. Yes.
When it comes to CO2 plant, what is the basic? Because CO2 should not be on for 24 hours.
Yes,
Or how
yes.
it is? Should we keep the CO2 in planted aquarium? Should it be always on or on off like
See,
that?
again, it's your choice. I have seen many experts, experts they give CO2 24 hours, but the quantity, the limit is very less. They give a very limited CO2 24 hours. I have seen many of them doing, and their tanks are doing fantastically good. But I'm using CO2 for only 4 to 5 hours. So before switching on the lights, before 2 hours of lights on, I start my CO2 and I'll give it for 4 to 5 hours, and thus I am getting a very good result out of that.
Okay. When it comes to Betta Forest, Vijayanagar, Do we get all those planted aquarium required things A to Z here?
Yes, all the planted tank related products will be having. We'll be having plant, soil, substrate, medias, lights, canisters, hang-on filters. We'll get scrapers. And at Betta Forest, we always love to promote a very good quality products.
Yeah.
We don't compromise on the quality, and even the price will be best in the market, I would say.
So, Pramod, my next question is, can we grow a good plant using liquid CO2? Because now in the market, we can see many of the liquid CO2, they have supplement, CO2 supplements, they have came, and even tablets are there. Do they work?
Yes.
My first question is that one. And what about the liquid CO2?
Uh, Nowadays, as the technology is developing, liquid CO2s are taking place in the market. Yes, liquid CO2 does the job, but not as equal to the cylinders. If you don't have a budget, you can definitely go with the liquid CO2s where you can dose on a regular basis. At least some sort of good result you will find out of that.
Okay, better than nothing. Means doing nothing, adding nothing to the
At least,
aquarium.
yeah,
If
introduce
we add
liquid
this one,
CO2s,
there will
you
be
will
some.
see some difference. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely
got
you
it,
will see
got
some
it, got it.
difference.
Okay, then my next question is, what about the fertilizers? Is fertilizers 100% necessary, or how do we means add fertilizers to these plants? How, what is the main requirement of their?
See, fertilizer is very essential for your aquarium. It is like a food for them. It is like a protein for them. Just eating a food and sleeping is not required. It's not that good for the plants. It needs some proteins. So, fertilizers does the job of proteins. They give a very contrast color. They helps to promote growth of the plant. They helps to make strong their roots. So definitely, the fertilizers are very much essential for planted aquariums.
Okay. Now coming to what our planted aquariums, how important role does a light play? Light, what we add to them?
See, light, if you look in the nature, sun does the job of light. But in our gallery, we don't have sunlight,
Yeah,
and we cannot give sunlight also because there are some again algae issue what we get.
challenges.
There are highly technical products in the market which are very good products. I don't take any names. Light is very much essential. Again, go for a good quality light for your plants. At least give for 6 to 8 hours basis on your tank requirement. Even for epiphytes, 4 hours of lighting is needed. So light is again an important thing to give.
Got it. And often should we clean our tank, and what is the amount of water changes? Now, normal, if you have a floran or any goldfish tank, we will change 30% water, 40% water. We'll do everything that we can. But here, if we mix it up, it will get very dirty, right?
Yes.
How is that cleaning process done in these tanks, and what is the water change parameters? What should we change, and what should be the water parameters?
See, if you want to maintain the hygienity, if you want to maintain the clarity in the water, completely a good aquarium, a healthy aquarium, I suggest at least 20% of water change in a week is very much essential.
20% in a week.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, in a week, 20%. And if you want to do on every 10th day, then 30 to 40% of water change is very much required.
Good.
If you want to maintain with the high standards.
Means that if we have those are the certain period of time which we
Yes,
have
yes,
to
we
do
should
the
do at
changes.
least some percentage of water change in the
What is the
aquariums.
water parameter that should be there for our planted aquarium? Because pH that and all will be there, right?
Mhm.
Means if it varies also, it might affect on the plants, right?
Yes,
So
basically, at Betta Forest, we use only filtered water because
our
we want stability in the water. I uh, I avoid the tap water for nature aquariums because tap water fluctuation will be high in terms of most of the time we get bore water mixed with the Kaveri. So I don't take that risk. I don't want to imbalance my water quality. If you are starting with the planted tanks, I recommend you use filtered water.
mm,
So filter water that keeps your aquarium stable, and pH recommendation is 6.5 to around 7.5 is required for planted
no.
tanks, and temperature between 22 to 26 goes well. So Bangalore climate usually helps the planted aquariums. The Bangalore climate, if you see, the water temperature will be between 22 to 24, 25, which is very good for
Good
the
for.
aquariums.
And then coming to the second part, what is the type of filtration you prefer to the planted aquarium? Because in normal aquarium we kill internal filters and they will have very strong water
Oxygen, yes.
this one and all. Oxygen should be, and oxygen we will introduce in this, and lot of decoratives and all. But coming to planted tank, we can't add any extra decoratives, as I know. And what is that thing we should keep in head before adding a filtration or doing a planted aquarium?
So it again depends on your tank size. If you're using a nano tank, go for at least hang-on filters, which filters 5 to 6 times in an hour of your complete water cycle in your aquarium. For bigger tanks, canisters are recommended. So at least 5 to 6 times of water has to be rotated every hour.
Oh.
So that capacity you need to check basis on your tank liter capacities.
Got it. And what is the flow parameter? Because in planted aquarium, if it has a very high flow, plant might come off, right? So what is the flow parameter, best flow parameter?
It again depends. If you are using rhizomes and rosettes, once their root is settled, the flow will not impact them.
Oh.
And in nature, if you see, there are some plants. Take an example of valsinias. Basically, they are found in a high stream waters.
Yeah.
So their root is very strong. It depends which plants you use. If you are using stem plants, any delicate plants, I recommend you to use a lily pipe. So which controls the flow if you have a high flow in your aquarium.
Got it. Lily pipes are those one which you have in the aquarium.
Yes, the glass
tank,
one.
right?
Yes,
glass ones. So my last question about planted tank is, what is the time you will be available here in your shop? So if someone comes and want to know about plants and take a new step into the journey of a planted aquarium, will you guide them? Or if they want, just they don't want any headache, they want you to come to their place, set up a tank and give you the maintenance and all everything to your hand, are you okay to take that sort of thing? And what is that? How does it happen? Means what is the timings you will be there? If it's any about planted tank A to Z done by your end, how does it work?
So Betta Forest opens at 10 o'clock in the morning and we closes at 9 o'clock. And the lunch timing will be between 1 to 2:30. And I request my customers, some customers are coming from too far. I request you guys to give me a call once and take a confirmation and you can drop in. And when coming to the products, yeah, we are taking as a package basis on the customer requirements. We have packages up to 10 lakhs at Betta Forest. And when you take as a package, entire maintenance will be our responsibility. Maintaining your tank quality on a regular basis will be our responsibility, and we ensure that your tank looks good always. And if you want to develop on your own, then yes, definitely again we recommend you some of the good products. We suggest you how to start. We suggest you what to start. So those are all services will be available at Betta Forest.
Sure. And I heard that now you have your own YouTube channel and Instagram channel. Can you please tell about that and what? I think you will be regularly updating and information.
Yeah, we have Insta account. The ID is betta.forest. We are updating our stock updates, our activity updates, our tanks delivery updates to the customer on a regular basis in Instagram. My customers can follow that as well.
It's betta.forest
Yes, Betta
on
dot
Instagram.
Forest, yes.
Got it. And YouTube?
YouTube shorts we have again the Betta Forest.
Okay.
It's the Betta Forest.
The Betta Forest on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I think our customers, our clients are.
I request everyone to please follow us on Instagram as well as on YouTube so that they can check our latest updates. Of
Even I urge my viewers to go and take a look into that, and I am sure that they will get a lot of information on this hobby and
sure, sir. Yes.
What they require. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Yashwant, sir. Thank you so much.
In future also, we'll do another podcast about biotopes.
Yeah, definitely we will do. I love to do biotope podcast,
terrariums, and my God, the woods you have, means the driftwoods what you have. We should do a separate video on them also, because
sure,
you have a lot of different sort of woods and also. So thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, bye.